As soon as new Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav took control, he started slashing projects left and right, including the Batgirl movie, which instead of letting it see the light of day, they decided to take that $90 million they invested in it, cancel the project, and instead take a tax write-down. And it sure seems as though Warner Brothers Discovery is tight on cash right now. That's a big motivating factor behind some of these decisions. Along with the Batgirl movie, tons of animated projects were shelved and said, you know what, we're not going to go forward with these on HBO Max. We're actually going to shop them around to other streaming services to see if we can get other people to pay us for this. Despite the clear financial advantages of moving on from some of these projects, shopping them elsewhere, David Zaslav is of course the target of the woke mob because some of these things were of course filled with identity politics, because guess what? A ton of the projects that they were working on are woke as hell, because this is Warner Brothers, this is Hollywood, and they are not happy about it. Animation fans, unhappy with recent cancellations, accuse Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav of being a racist Trump supporter and call for his firing. And in fact, after the news came out that potentially there's a report of secret Batgirl screenings that are named funeral screenings, after which they will destroy any and all evidence and any and all footage of the Batgirl movie. One of the activists who are a part of the Batgirl cast came out and spoke their mind. Batgirl actress Ivory Aquino implores Warner Brothers Discovery to consider releasing the DC film, and this person even put out a message to David Zaslav himself. There were some articles about this person. Batgirl cast transgender actor Ivory Aquino to play Elijah Yao, DC Film's first transgender character. So many people clapping about the representation this movie was going to have. Not so much the case, but let's get into some of these people who are furious with David Zaslav. The recent round of outrage against Zaslav stems from his decision to cancel several upcoming animated projects in service of his goal in cutting back on Warner Brothers Discovery's overall expenses. This company is in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. Like, if you haven't paid attention, they have a cash flow problem. They have a money problem. They are trying to cut costs everywhere they can, which is why a lot of this stuff is going. The now shelved from HBO works include the films The Amazing World of Gumball the Movie, Bye Bye Bunny, a Looney Tunes musical, The Day the Earth Blew, a Looney Tunes movie, Did I Do That to the Holidays, a Steve Urkel Christmas, and Driftwood, as well as Batman Cape Crusader and Merry Little Batman animated series. It's clear that David Zaslav is not putting a whole lot of stock on these super expensive animated movies. He doesn't think it'll bring a lot of subscribers into HBO Max. While a level of sadness and anger in response to the long-awaited release of Standard, these fans took things to the next level and began blaming the loss of these animated projects to Zaslav being an alleged racist and Trump supporter. And of course, it all goes back to this thing from 2017. David Zaslav said Trump, ... some of his business policies could be really helpful to America. I think the idea of having Republican Congress, Senate, and President is a good thing because now they're going to get some things done. Of course, that is what they're using to say he is a Trump supporter. Nevertheless, they're not talking about the fact that he donated far more to Democrats in 2020 than he did to Republicans. In fact, he donated $125,000 to the Democratic congressional campaign and only $5,000 total to any Republican candidate. So it's kind of a joke to pretend like he's some super conservative guy. I actually think a lot of people are putting too much faith in David Zaslav and what he's doing, as opposed to just looking at it like a businessman looks at it. I don't think he's specifically like anti-woke anything. That's why they're moving forward with the Flash movie and some of these other projects at DC. And of course, this has resulted in people labeling him a Trump supporter, labeling him a racist, saying, look at this, you know what the Nazis did when they took over? They stifled arts programs, took over sports sectors, and blocked any anti-Nazi entertainment programming. Very interesting indeed. Saying that that's what David Zaslav is doing with Warner Brothers Discovery. In case you aren't aware, Zaslav is not only a Trump supporter, but he has disproportionately canceled shows by women and POC, and then he hired 6 old white men. It goes on and on and on. And of course, all of that is leading up to this person, Ivory Aquino, however you pronounce it, coming out against David Zaslav as well. Let's take a look at some of what this person says. Dear Mr. Zaslav, I just read an article about supposed funeral screenings of Batgirl and the possibility afterwards that the film footage would be destroyed. If this is the case, as one of many who poured our hearts into the making of this, I ask this measure be reconsidered. Like, this person's trying to get David Zaslav to actually release this movie. I will say it again. Warner Brothers clearly has financial problems right now. They decided it was better to take a full write-down on that movie. $90 million, said, you know what, full write-down because we don't think we can make our money back on it, especially with all these costs associated with marketing, all of that stuff. That's why they did this. But Ivory Aquino continues on. As much as I've tried my best to be strong these past few weeks, I'd find myself crying, for a lack of a better term, from grief. And tonight was one of those nights. As much as Batgirl has been labeled a woke film, it simply came together that way because of writing that reflects the world we live in. Of course it does, and this is again someone who took the opportunity to say it shouldn't be canceled because non-traditional and underrepresented cast and crew, that deserves to be seen. Nothing deserves to be seen. Now, a lot of people are trying to make comparisons between this and obviously Zack Snyder's Justice League, a movie that was released. But of course, those things are a little bit different. They actually did film so much of that movie and then went ahead and reshot a bunch of it, released that in theaters. That got seen by a lot of people. There's a big difference between that and something like Batgirl. I do feel bad for the people that were involved in the making of this project to dedicate a lot of time and a lot of effort into doing something like that, only for it to be pulled out from under you and basically said this is not good enough to see the light of day. I'm sure that's pretty shitty. But the fact that so many people are now coming after David Zaslav and attacking him, calling him a racist, and of course they're trying to attack him by calling him a Trump supporter, when really there's not a ton of evidence there other than he said it might be good for the economy. It's just laughable. And I think there's people on both sides that are putting things on David Zaslav right now that he absolutely is not. I don't think he's necessarily anti-woke. I think he's just trying to save this company money right now. But it's not going to stop people from labeling him. It's not going to stop the people that work or worked for Warner Brothers Discovery coming out and trying to pressure him into releasing things that he thinks are dog shit. Let me know your thoughts about all this in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.
Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.